This week in Jamaica Now, Vybz Kartel now months away from knowing whether his murder conviction will be overturned. The prosecution says if that happens, it wants a retrial. Decomposing body suspected to be missing dancehall artist Medikk found. The PNP attacks Venesha Phillips for leaving to join the JLP she called a party of deception 8 years ago. Ms. Phillips now says,
"Was blind, but now I see."
And
Madam Speaker, Jamaica's national budget is now firmly in the $1 trillion range.
the era of the trillions, government proposing to spend $1.3 trillion next financial year. I'm Jovan Johnson and this is Jamaica Now. All eyes are locked on the Privy Council on whether it will overturn the murder convictions of dancehall artist Vybz Kartel and his three co-convicts, Sean Storm Campbell, Kahira Jones and Andre St. John. The Privy Council, Jamaica's final court of appeal, heard oral arguments on Wednesday and Thursday in the appeal brought by the men. Now there are three key issues at the heart of the case. 1. Should the trial judge have excluded the phone evidence that the prosecution relied on? 2. How should the judge have handled the allegations that there were attempts to bribe members of the jury during the trial, and should the jury or the juror accused of bribery have been discharged? And 3. Whether the jury felt pressured to give a verdict after being asked to consider their decision at 3:42 in the afternoon. During the hearings, Kartel's legal team insisted that their client's right to a fair trial was breached because of the alleged jury tampering and subsequent conviction of a juror, Livingston Kane, for attempting to pervert the course of justice. Mr. Kane was not removed from the jury because doing so would have reduced the number to 10, which was not recognized under the law as a properly constituted jury. However, despite withering questions from the judges, the lawyers for the prosecution insisted that the judge was entitled to use his discretion to keep Mr. Kane and trust that the jurors would stick to their oath. King's counsel Peter Knox, who appeared for the prosecution, told the court that the prosecution wants a retrial if the Privy Council's decision is to overturn the men's conviction. But the defense rejected that proposal, saying that it would be impossible for the men to get a fair trial given the high-profile nature of the case and the passage of time. Kartel and his co-accused were convicted in 2014 of the 2011 murder of Clive Lizard Williams for the alleged failure to return guns given to him by Kartel. Less than 2 weeks before local government elections, the ruling Jamaica Labour Party and the opposition People's National Party have not published a manifesto of their plans and policy positions. Representatives of the parties were asked about the issue by television Jamaica journalist Giovanni Dennis at Thursday's local government debate organized by the Jamaica Debates Commission.
Neither party has presented a local government manifesto to the electorate. In 2016, the former mayor of Mapen, the now deceased Milton Brown, said in this very room that within 3 months after if the JLP won, that a manifesto would be provided. Yet here we are without a clear, written and published roadmap by which the public can judge you, the both of you. What do you say to Jamaicans who find this as insulting?
The Jamaica Labour Party has in fact completed its manifesto. The publication of that manifesto will be made available soon. The reality is a manifesto is not a static document, it's a working document. And so you referenced 2016. We have to remain current and conversant with the issues of the people of Jamaica. And so the consultation has taken place and the manifesto has been completed and at the appropriate time will be made available to the people of Jamaica.
Our manifesto is completed and will also be published soon.
The local government elections are set for February 26. And the PNP team attacked councillor candidate Venesha Phillips for leaving the party to join the JLP. Now, this was Ms. Phillips in 2016 while representing the PNP in the then local government debates.
Any councillor who would look at you and tell you that they were not able to push their division because of allocation, reject them. It is a lie, and there's no other name by which we can call it but a lie. But that is what the Jamaica Labour Party represents, deception.
At Thursday's debate, shadow spokesperson for local government Natalie Nita Garvey had some questions.
When you talk about deception, it was my friend in the last debate who said that the most deceptive government was the Jamaica Labour Party government, who also said that she is no part of the deception team. So I want to know is that she has sold out to the deception. Because tonight, I know that the People's National Party remains that party that is going to field a cadre of strong, effective, and hard-working councillors who will have the minimum qualification that is required to get the job done.
But Ms. Phillips, who was this time arguing for the JLP, appeared prepared for the attack.
This is the moment for amazing grace, where I say to my friends, I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. So no, it's not deception. Experience teaches wisdom. And one day I pray that wisdom will visit upon my friends and they will join us on this side as we continue the sensible management of the business of the people of Jamaica.
The second debate is scheduled for February 17. And the February 5 dispute that involved JLP councillor candidate in St. Thomas, Dean Jones, pulling his licensed gun on a businessman, Wayne Walker, has reportedly been resolved. A photograph has emerged on social media of the men shaking hands. Mr. Walker told the Star newspaper on Tuesday that Mr. Jones apologized and has agreed to pay his medical bills. Meanwhile, the police are investigating an incident in which a campaign vehicle belonging to Jason Cummings, the PNP councillor candidate for the Rose Hall division in St. James, was set ablaze sometime after 7 o'clock on Thursday evening. Mr. Cummings says the Nissan AD wagon motorcar was parked outside his home in Lilliput in the parish. No one was hurt. And the police are investigating whether the fatal shooting of a man in the area was linked to the alleged arson. It's reported that 44-year-old Kenroy Shrimprid Dolman, who is reportedly mentally ill from Lilliput, was shot and killed in an ambush by unknown assailants. The incident happened shortly after 9 p.m. Investigators are reporting that the skeletal remains of a body suspected to be that of missing dancehall artiste Medikk was found in a cane field in Wallen and Catherine on Wednesday. The woman, whose real name is Stephanie Williams, went missing on August 24, 2023. Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey says the body will be processed.
On Wednesday, the 14th of February 2024, the skeletal remains of a body suspected to be that of Miss Stephanie Williams, O.C. Medikk, 29 years old, was found in a district known as Wallen in the parish of St. Catherine in a cane field. Miss Williams went missing on or about Thursday, the 24th of August 2023, and has not been seen since. A missing person report was made to the Constant Spring Police by the mother of Miss Williams. As a result of the report, the police commenced investigation into a missing person and possible murder. Several lines of inquiries were made and several persons interviewed and statement recorded. It is also to be noted that several case conferences were held and significant support was given by the Criminal Investigation CIB headquarters in Kingston. The body will be processed and compared with DNA sample to determine the true identity. The investigation continues in the matter. I am appealing to anyone who may have information that can provide assistance to the police to call us at 119-311 and the nearest police station.
A police constable was killed in a collision in Old Harbour, St. Catherine on Wednesday. He is 29-year-old Ronaldo Spence of the St. Catherine North Police Division and Churchpen in Old Harbour. Late Thursday, news came that the decomposing body of a man was found in bushes adjacent to where the crash took place. It's believed that the individual may have been the pillion on the bike that was being driven by the policeman. The police say about 1:18 a.m. on Wednesday, Constable Spence was driving a Honda motorcycle towards Old Harbour when his bike hit a dog. This resulted in him losing control of the motorcycle and colliding with a Toyota Corolla Fielder. The government is planning to spend $1.3 trillion for the financial year 2024-2025 that starts on April 1. That's a 19% increase over the $1.1 trillion that has been approved for the current fiscal year. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke tabled the proposed budget in Parliament on Thursday. He said the budget will be financed through $1 trillion in tax revenues and grants and $300 billion from other sources such as loans.
The capital expenditure budget includes allocations for the most comprehensive health infrastructure improvement since our independence. Madam Speaker, approximately $11 to $12 billion is being allocated for the modernization of the Spanish Town Hospital, the continued construction of the new Western Children's and Adolescent Hospital, the rehabilitation of Cornwall Regional Hospital, as well as the upgrades to the Maypen and St. Anne's Bay hospitals and the Greater Portmore and St. Jago Park health centers. Madam Speaker, debt to GDP is on track for 72.2% by March 31st, 2023, lower than the 74% previously targeted, and is projected to be, Madam Speaker, 67.2% by March 31st of 2025. Madam Speaker, if achieved, this will be the lowest debt ratio in well over 40 years.
Meanwhile, opposition spokesman on finance Julian Robinson raised concerns about the impact of the wage bill for the next financial year, which is projected to represent 12.6% of gross domestic product, or GDP.
While we have removed the 9% target that existed, I would like to know what is the projection going forward, given the challenges that we have had with growth and the fact that our growth rates tend to be in the 1 to 2%. And while the adjustment was necessary, we are seeing a higher than normal wage to GDP ratio. The second concern I have, while an increase in the capital budget is always welcome, we are having difficulties spending what we allocate. And what I'd like to know what the government plans to do to deal with and all of them, some are procurement issues, some relate to the non-responsiveness of the private sector to bids that are put out, but at the end of the day, we're not spending the monies that have been allocated. And that has a detrimental impact on many other things down the road.
We don't want to go much beyond this number in terms of wage to GDP. 12.6 is already on the upper end of wage expenditure for comparable peer group countries. And so it's going to be the answer to your question is that going forward, wage growth cannot exceed revenue growth.
And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner, and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page, turn on the notification, and subscribe today. I'm Jovan Johnson, and before we go, let's look back at this week's pomp and pageantry at the ceremonial opening of the Jamaican Parliament. The event marks the start of the 2024-2025 legislative year.